One medal left. My name is Marcyliena Morgan. I am the Moran Professor of Social Sciences and the founding director of the Hip Hop Archive at Harvard University. No matter what others tell you, it is the only one in the world. Okay? It is an honor and a dream come true to introduce Dana Elaine Owens, Queen Latifah, tonight. I'm going to try to not lose my mind here, and because we really want to hear from her as well. This isn't Queen Latifah's first time at Harvard. In 2003, she was named Artist of the Year by the Harvard Foundation. In citing the accomplishment that brought her the honor, the late Alan Counter commented on one of the most potent. Latifah is, he said, a pillar of female strength. Indeed, just last week, as the host of the Women's Achievement Summit in Richmond, Virginia, she spoke about workplace gender discrimination, one of the themes of the gathering. Quote, I decided to be my own boss at an early age because of that, because I felt that there were a lot of guys telling me what I should be doing, all right. Let me just say, Latifah had it up to here, okay? Because I felt that there were a lot of guys telling me what I should be doing, when I felt like I was smarter than they were, and I felt like I was stronger than they were, and I did not want to be told what to do by them. Of course, she has had a number of workplaces, and there's not one in which she hasn't distinguished herself. A Grammy-winning MC and an Emmy and Oscar-nominated actor, she's dominated every field she has entered. From the beginning, she was a savvy entrepreneur. Coupled with her outsized talent for music, she quickly became an unstoppable cultural force. Her debut album, 1989's All Hail the Queen, I felt so good about myself, I can't tell you, looking at that and watching her. It was released on Tommy Boy and sold more than 1 million copies and earned her first Grammy nomination. Just 2 years later, she had founded and become CEO of Flavor Unit Records and Management Company. In just 2 years after that, her company had signed 17 rap groups, including Naughty by Nature. Flavor Unit Entertainment is still thriving today. Not a bad track record in the fast-changing music industry. It was the single, U-N-I-T-Y, that earned her a Grammy Award, the first time a woman had won in the Best Rap Solo category. Her peer pioneer, who also has received the Bois Medal, MC Lyte, calls it one of the most important songs in hip-hop. She told Billboard magazine, quote, it was extremely impactful for the genre of hip-hop to finally hear a strong voice of a positive Black woman speaking about uplifting young women. To date, it's still one of my favorite songs, end quote. The The women artists who have become famous for controlling their own careers, Beyonce, for instance, owns a significant debt to Queen Latifah. The writer Heather Wood Rudolph wrote of Latifah that when she, quote, introduced herself to the world as Queen Latifah, bursting onto the hip-hop scene, demanding respect as an artist, a rapper, and a woman, it was only fitting that she had crowned herself queen. Rudolph wrote, Latifah called out the misogyny in hip-hop at a time when women in the industry weren't being given opportunities to ask for much at all. She infused feminism into rap music when female artists were barely allowed through the door, and then she left it open. And as those of us who keep up with what's going on in hip-hop know today, she's still playing that role, and we really, really appreciate it. I do want to say, as an academic studying hip hop, we end up looking at things from disciplinary perspectives. And at one point, I was doing some writing, and I was writing about language and hip hop. And I got caught up in the discussion that was going on with Two Life Crew, and various other groups. And this group of women came out called BWP. And it was women's voice against the misogyny, what have you, in hip hop. A lot of people think women don't fight back or whatever, but a lot of us don't hear women's voices, okay? And so, yeah, no, but BWP stands for Bitches with Problems. And they operated with a list of things that got on their nerves. I won't go into the list, you can look it up. But they asked Queen Latifah, you know, what did she think? And she said, I'm down with the bitches, you know? I don't even know if you remember that, but I loved it, okay. So the genre, but that's what you did. That's the thing about academics. You gotta, you know, we're checking it out, saving it, you know, like, I see. And, you know, if you think about it, we're working there, we're working, we're thinking, and in the back of our minds, we're dealing with sexism, we're dealing with racism, we're dealing all with the same thing. And to have our artists really stating things, singing songs, playing music, doing all that they're doing, writing poetry to help us figure out that we're not alone in this world, I think is an incredibly important thing, and we thank you so much for that. This genre-jumping star of films and TV who sings and raps with equal style, who controls her own image, also pays heed to the shoulders she stands on. Whether it's giving cameos to Shelley Thunder, Harmony, and Miss Melody in her iconic Ladies First video, or crediting her mother with providing a model for the kind of artist she strove to be. Queen Latifah, in the words of hip-hop scholar and educator Gwendolyn Poe, demands that women be seen, heard, and respected. She is and has always been there when women and girls needed to know that they were seen and heard and could accomplish anything. She was Cleo for us, Khadija, Aunt Shaniqua, Regina Bookman, Dee Dee, Carlotta Brown, Mama Morton. She has made it known that she will not be called out of her name, that she is there for all women who are trying to work it out. And as we respect each other, we will be able to work it out and win this game. Queen Latifah embodies the creed of our forebears who lifted as they climbed. She has held hip-hop to a higher standard and has transformed American culture. The Hutchins Center recognizes Queen Latifah with the W.E.B. Du Bois.
so much. Oh my goodness. She's right, this thing is heavy. Thank you so much for having me here today. Thank you so much for the center, the Hutchins Center for African and African American Research, Harvard University. How about that? Lonnie, we straight from the bricks. I mean, you know what I'm saying, Lonnie? Newark, New Jersey in the building. There was only one way that I would come here. And first of all, thank you for Dr. Henry Louis Gates here, Jr. And that was that I would be able to come accept, and that was if my partner Sha Kim compare, who's sitting in the audience, just give a little wave, Sha, so everybody just, they can't see that. A little bit higher, a little bit higher. He's not very, he doesn't like to be in front of the camera so much. But the only way I would come is if he would come with me, because wherever you see me, you see him. Yeah. We've been partners we've been friends since high school and since 10th grade, and we've been partners in business my entire career. Even before we formed our company, he would come to meetings with me at my record label and just sit there quietly as I would have meetings with these executives. And afterwards, we would talk about it. He observed, he listened and listened until he was finally ready to speak. And when he speak, he had a lot to say. And we had a lot to say to one another. Despite where we came from, we had big dreams. We saw way down the road, and we talked about those things a lot. But let me back it up. Backing it up. If you are 18 years or younger, make some noise up in this building. It's okay if you're 19 and up. But I expect that you probably are a student here. I was inspired by my parents. My father was a Newark police officer, tactical police officer, lethal weapon kind of guy, but cool as hell, excuse my language, stylish, and spoke in metaphors quite often. I had to decipher that as a child. My mother was an art teacher. She would call herself an educator. And I loved the way she would say, I'm an educator, when people asked her what she did. Because what she truly did was educate. She educated me from the day I was born. She educated my friends. She educated other people's children. She raised other people's children, my partner included. She told them that they could be anything they wanted to be if they put their minds to it. It's funny because I lost my mother not too long ago, and she would be in a hospital bed, and a young kid, a young brother would come in there mopping or sweeping or something, and then this young particular guy, he had his pants kind of sagging, and he'd come in the room, get the garbage, sweep up, whatever. She'd strike up a conversation with him. What's your name? How do you like working here? What do you plan on doing? And before you know it, she was engaging this kid who was coming in here looking like this, sweeping and grabbing garbage, sagging. And would continue to engage him from her hospital bed when she's the one there for treatment. And after a couple of days, you notice that his pants got a little higher. And his head started to raised higher. He came in the room like this, not like this. And he said, "Good morning," or "Good afternoon," or "How you feeling today, Miss Owens?" So from her position, she was able to raise his position. And she was the one that was there for treatment. It just speaks to the power of one person and how you can make a difference in someone's life. You don't have to be a billionaire. You just have to see something and want to do something about it. Robert Smith saw something and wanted to do something about it. Something he saw way before he was a billionaire. He saw imbalance. He saw injustice. Rita Dove saw the beauty in the world in a different way and was able to express that. So was Miss Alexander. I read a poem by Nikki Giovanni on the way over here, just for the heck of it. I was like, I gotta calm my nerves, so I wrote a good omelet and I ate a good poem. The name of the poem is I Wrote a Good Omelet. After loving you. Anyway, I digress. I feel so honored to be up here on the stage amongst such great people who've done so many accomplished things. What Sheila's done for so many people and what you continue to do, the example you are. My mother was an art teacher, so Kerry, you already know how I feel. My mother's birthday was September 28th, and what I've been trying to do is protect her art. I can't replace it. Her sketches, her sketchbooks, things, she had to come live with me in California for a while, and I'm like, we gotta protect the artist. It's in the garage, it's in Jersey, who knows what kind of weather's going on. And I've literally been grabbing portfolios and putting little things here and going through pictures. And so for her birthday, as a celebration, we put this art, my mother's art, on display around the house and had a barbecue. Because I don't know if my family even had an opportunity to see what she did, what I saw growing up. All of these paintings and these sketches and these beautiful things that my mother created. They got to see Miss Owens, the art teacher. Miss Owens, the aunt, Aunt Rita. But they didn't get to see her work. And so it was like an art show in my house, and my family was so impressed, and her friends were blown away. And a lot of it was power to the people up in those pictures. And I got to see African art at a very early age. I knew that the world was bigger than what most of my friends in Newark, New Jersey got to see. But I also knew that Newark was rich in culture and talent, that Sarah Vaughan was born in Newark, and Whitney Houston is from the Newark area. Frank Sinatra, Jerry Lewis, and on and on and on. I got to go to the Newark Museum as a kid and see artwork. I got to see books by Salvador Dali, but also Romare Bearden. So Romare Bearden is a black painter for the high school kids. You can look him up. But I'm not going to talk too long because I know you've been here a very long time, and I just want to shout out a few people that made a difference in our lives. My grandfather owned a hardware store, and so he showed me that black people could do business. My grandmother told me she worked at Picatinny Arsenal during the war making bombs. She felt like that was her contribution to helping America win. She also raised 9 kids. My other grandmother, who was 91, raised 7 kids. So shout to Nana in Maryland. Shout out to my partner in business for respecting me as a woman and respecting my mind. Thank you for inspiring me and putting that battery in my back and telling me that we could do this, that we didn't need to be managed. I didn't need to have anyone else, that we could do this together. He told me over and over and over till I believed it. And I might be the star out here, but he's the star in that office. And I couldn't accomplish anything you've seen me accomplish if it wasn't for Shakim having my back. See, he got the real conversations. They put on the pretty conversations in front of me. But they didn't know I was on the phone sometimes. Just listening, getting the real. So how can she remain humble after all these years? Because I know what people really say when Queen Latifah's not on the phone. I could keep my feet on solid ground and know who I am because I have real people around me like Shakim, like LB, who love me. They smack my hand when I do bad things and they pat me on the back when I do well. And I appreciate that. I want to give a shout out to Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One, Miss Melody. Shout to Public Enemy. I want to give a shout out to MC Light. These are some of the people, the rappers who, and their camps who taught us what to do on the road as teenagers, not really knowing what to do. They showed us the game. They showed us the business. They showed us that we were the ones who would get 3 minutes on stage and that they would get the production. So we had a lot of work to do. But they showed us that we could do it. MC Light inspired me because she was the first rapper that I saw speak the way she did. So I'm surprised and also grateful that she gave me a shout out. She deserved that award, very much so. Just like a test I crammed to understand you. Who writes that? Songs like Cappuccino, Poor George, and things like that. I want to give much respect to Diane Carroll. Claudine was one of my favorite movies growing up. Many of you may know her for Julia. I knew her for Claudine. I knew that she was a black woman who sounded and spoke eloquently like my mother, who was beautiful like my mother. Even though she was impoverished at the time. I knew that there were people trying to separate her and this man from having a relationship. Had to hide the toaster, hide the TV. What a way to be, to live in a place where in order to get some assistance, you can't be with the person that you love. That you need to be a single parent. That's backwards ass. Excuse my language. When I got some money in my pocket, I did what everybody does. They take trips to Europe, because that's what you're supposed to do, right? And I wanted to go. First, I went to Italy. I went to Florence. I hired a guide. I went to Vatican City. Went to Rome. I saw all these things that were 2,000 years old, 3,000 years old. Wow. I was told all about these things. They were amazing, and how they were curated, and people would conquer and bring back the best and take the best in here and create this and these beautiful structures and artwork. I was very impressed. And then I went to Greece. And then I saw things, that were like 5,000 years old and 7,000 years old. And I saw incredible architecture. And again, I hired a one-on-one guide to take me around and explain things to me. I was so extremely impressed. It made me want to come home and collect more of my own artists here in America. But then I went to Egypt. I went to Africa, where things were 7,000, 10,000, 12,000 years old, and possibly older. And I said, wait a minute, that outfit that guy was wearing in Greece looks a lot like this outfit that this soldier was wearing here. And those arches that I saw in Greece and Italy, they look a lot like that building there. You see, it came from here. Black girl magic. Yeah, they was making some black girl magic back then. Black excellence. Yeah, we made some black excellence. And it wasn't just at the top of Africa. It was where to get a little browner as you keep going down. I learned about Hatshepsut, a female pharaoh. Anyway, my mother taught us to give back, and that's why we're here. Because everything we learned, we shared. Our job was the reason we opened up a management company was because our friends were in terrible record deals. They were getting taken advantage of. We all had bad deals, but they had terrible ones. And we were able to get them out of those record deals and get them much better deals. And that's why a lot of the rappers came to our company, because they saw the success we had with our own friends and decided they wanted to have that opportunity as well. We did our best to do a great job for them. We let them share in their business. It was our job to manage them, to do business for them, to act on their behalf. But if they wanted to sit in every meeting and be on every phone call and learn about their business, they were more than welcome to. And many took advantage of that. And many just decided, hey, I'm gonna sing and I'm gonna rap and do my thing and work on that. And that was fine too. But we gave it back. The doors stayed open. When we saw Will, one of our boys, get a TV show, we said, well, Will can do it. Well, we can do it. Thank you, Will, for doing that, because you inspired us and you've helped us all along the way. But we were able to go out and create Living Single. And Living Single let other people know that they could do it. From crossing over to rap and to film, the people at our agency told my partner, Sheila, that I could never be an A-list artist. Wrong thing to tell him. He was determined to make sure I became an A-list actress. And there are times that you have to walk away from things as well. And there are times that you will have to stand alone. So I'm gonna speak to all of you students out here and let you know that you can be whatever you wanna be if you put your mind to it and you work hard for it, and you will have to work hard for it. But just understand that there will be times when you will have to stand alone. There will be no one else that will believe in your dream. They will think you are out of your mind and think you can accomplish it. There are plenty of people who told us we could never be where we are today. A principal told Shakim he would amount to nothing. But we don't believe those people. And you have to be strong and be courageous. And just know that if you believe in it, it's gonna happen. Don't give up. Do not give up. Do not quit. Fight for it. Fight. 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 I get in the backyard sometimes and I scream, fight! 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 That's me fighting for my life. Fighting against drugs and alcohol. Fighting against mental illness. Fighting against racism, sexism, all of it. You're gonna have to fight. So, I'm gonna wrap it up. Some people carry around other quotes in their wallets, but I carry around one that says, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you very much.